let's start this mission on Sanctum. It will feel like a multiplayer game, in fact, because that's a map that people who play the multiplayer know by heart. I'm changing the gear, the armor bonuses for both James and Yara. I prefer power with charge speed over power damage and shields over weapon damage whenever I can. Weapon loadouts, I'm not changing anything. For James, I'm just adding a few points. In Arms Master, increase shields and health, so that, you can stay up longer. And for Yara, more stasis damage. Let's start the mission now.
Commander, I've got a hail from Admiral Hackett.
Put him through, Lieutenant.
Shepard, we've uncovered a secret Cerberus Lab, function unknown. We sent in a recon team, but they were forced to pull out before they got very far.
Any other intel?
We think they're using the facility to warehouse and study Reaper tech. We've been wondering how Cerberus is connected to the Reapers, and this might give us some answers.
We're on it.
Find out what Cerberus is doing and get me any Reaper tech samples you can, Commander. Hack it out.
Aye, aye, Admiral. In this area you have a lot of items to pick up, and I want to show you some way you can avoid forgetting any of those.
Commander, I'm tracking some tech with a Reaper signature. That's your first sample to grab. Updating your nav.
So don't go this way. Normally you should. Most people do, in fact, because the Reaper artifact is over there. Let's start on the right. Let's take this corridor. You have credits here. And as you can see, there are 3 Cerberus troopers. Well, 3 Cerberus something in this room. They will not be moving. Let's read the journal entry. That will give me 18 experience points, and that will give me the ability to invest some points in Carnage for James. This will be useful to activate combos on many occasions, most notably with incineration or incendiary ammo. So let's go up the stairs and let's shoot at these guys. The Reaper artifact is just in front of me. And be careful because the Cerberus troopers tend to kite you, as this one just did. I'm throwing my assault turrets to divert the enemy's attention, and I'm using Cryoblast to incapacitate as many troopers as I can because they have only health. And that also allows James to use Carnage to detonate the combos. There are a few Centurions as well coming in the wave, so consider it as a wave, And that's the moment I wished I had armor-piercing rounds. I could shoot through the wall. Be careful because some of those use grenades. And if you are using the Engineer and you have the ability to use Energy Drain, you can use Energy Drain against the Centurion to restore your shields. A little. But whenever the Centurion is using smoke screen, it's better to basically fall back to this position. I like this position a lot because that allows me to channel the enemy. Go through this corridor and take the second entry of the first entry in fact of this personal log about Cerberus. Protect humanity. Actually, it's the second entry, if you read the content. In the first entry, the writer says that basically Cerberus is integrating its troops, so we don't really know what they mean by integrate. And in this log, the person is clearly indoctrinated. So there's credit over there. 3K. And that should be the last trooper, almost. More credits here. And also a last item, a very important item I don't want to forget.
Will only lead to Medigel advances for Hanar.
Yeah, and that will be useful as well, you know. The Alien Medigel Formula mission now appears in the journal. So this is the first artifact, let's take it. I believe that if you try to take it and Cerberus troopers shoot at you, that will cancel the animation we just saw, and you won't be able to take the artifact. Don't forget the sniper rifle enhanced scope here. And before you go to the shuttle, if you have the ability to do that, use assault turrets and a combat drone. Let's anticipate on Cerberus a little, because there's a new enemy in this mission. And that's the engineer.
Got it. Right away.
Yeah.
So this stage might take some time, depending on how fast you kill the engineer. It's best to focus on it, but that doesn't mean that the wave budget is going to deplete as quick as you wished it would. Especially at this stage, you are very flimsy still, even if you're importing your game from Mass Effect 2. And Cerberus tends to have good military tactics. They stay in cover, they deploy informations that can be really unsettling. And I died a few times while preparing this video on Insanity, that's difficult. The weak point of the combat engineer is the bag they have on their backs. That's actually supposed to be the turrets. And every single turret disappears after 30 seconds of inactivity. That was very dangerous, but I used energy drain at the very last moment to restore my shields. It was just to urge Cerberus a little. Otherwise, nothing is going to happen, and you know. These smoke screen tends to make your progression even slower, so sometimes you have to hurt them a little, but really, that level is a bit difficult on Insanity, to be honest. And unlike the multiplayer, you cannot revive if you drop. I really have to work on that melee because it's not strong as of yet. I hope it will be later. Okay, now that the second wave has been dealt with, let's take the second artifact. And the moment you activate the second artifact, something happens. These guys show up.
It appears to be Reaper tech.
And the best thing is to use Singularity directly, so that they won't have time to shoot at you while you take the artifacts.
Cortez, second sample secured. Heading back to you now.
Curiously, this trooper was not attracted by Singularity, so instead I killed him using a fire combo.
We just need to hold out until Cortez can pick us up.
Nothing like having your back to the wall.
Okay, that is indeed going to be really difficult now. this moment you have to wait for Cortez. That in fact takes place in different stages, and you can recognize the stages according to what Shepard says. And in this wave there are 2 Guardians. The strategy is the same as in our Mars episode. Use Liara's singularity to avoid much trouble against these guys. They can be really annoying. I thought it was a better strategy to wait a little and wait that the enemy comes rather than trying to get personal with the enemy and, you know, trying to break through their lines or things like this.
Stay focused. This isn't over yet.
So these lines of dialogues actually mark the end of the first stage of this wave. So that's good news. We are moving on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, nothing on the right. The strategy here is simple. I'm using my squad mates for the room on the left, while I'm trying to secure the corridor on the right. While I was preparing this episode, something really strange happened. On one occasion, the enemy would spawn every single time just next to me. And when I say just next to me, I mean it. I don't know what happened. I was running around the map, that's probably why, but still.
Cortez, do you copy? What's your status?
Engaging multiple targets. Time to something a bit risky.
That was the end of the second stage.
Last stand, Commander.
You saw the shuttle through the windows. Wow, I welcome this animation, and I think it's nice. It adds some pressure to the game. Fortunately, I don't think there's any engineer in this wave. The corridor on the right is totally empty. There's no trooper here. It's rare. Usually they tend to deploy a lot and try to kite you. And moreover, it's very easy to get flanked in this area where I'm staying. It's an easy area to defend, yes, thanks to right-hand advantage and because it has much cover. But it is a double-edged sword, in fact. It's very easy to get killed as well, to get flanked and killed in the process. So wait until further instructions, even if it's long. I know, it was long for me as well. The combat drone helps me to see around the corners whether there's an enemy waiting for me, you know, you never know what may happen. Go, go, go! Taking casualties. Oh, a Centurion went down the stairs. Combat drone is very useful in this respect because it helps me against the Centurion shields, and it also stuns the Centurion for a little while. So preventing him from using the smoke grenade they extensively use, in fact. Especially on Insanity, it's like, you know, a reflex. It's like the first thing they do in the morning. Isn't that stupid? Yeah, well, sometimes Overload works this way to recover, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the map. But because I know this map a little, thanks to multiplayer, I know exactly if I can shoot or not. And in this instance, it works. Through the box, up there.
Cortez, do you copy?
I hope he's still alive.
He'll make
And that's the next stage.
landing pad clear.
Keeping the extraction area clear. We're eating through the wave budget little by little.
I'm on it. Right away. I'm on it. Right away.
Well, in fact,
Roger that.
don't go there. Most players will tell you to do that. But what happened to me quite a few times actually was that the enemy would spawn exactly where the shuttle was supposed to land. And when that happens, when you try to secure the extraction area and you have Centurions and I think Engineers, or well, at least Centurions, shielded enemies, all the same, spawning just behind you, there isn't much you can do. Well, I could use a Medigel to augment my chances of survival. I've picked all the Medigels in this area for experience, so I don't really need to save my Medigels now. Or if you don't know about the Medigel strategy for earning experience points very easily, just look at the second episode in the series. I say a few things about it at some point. So I know that's the final stage, but given that the enemy spawns are very erratic, I prefer to play it safe and preferably not to use any Medigel at all. That's part of the challenge, isn't it? And I know I won't be expecting enemies that are tougher than the Centurions and the Engineers, so
Understood.
there's not even any Dragoons. I know Dragoons were added later in the game, but they might have tweaked the game a little and added the Dragoons in some stages.
Commander, had to go dark side to shake him. Coming in hot. Be ready.
Heading for
Okay, once Cortez says he's ready, it's the right moment to head towards the extraction zone.
Understood.
But still, be careful. Enemy spawns, as I said, are very, very erratic. As you can see, the assault trooper right behind me. I used Singularity at the last moment. And I prayed. Look at this. But it's still possible to survive. You see, I'm at health gate and I'm using a Medigel at the last moment. Going back at health gate again, so it gave me a second chance, and that second chance was welcome. Now I'm finding the best strategy to get out of this very annoying situation. And stressful as well. You know I'm going to survive simply because, well, I survived. I might have died here because of the grenades. And my squad mates are falling apart. This is one of the worst situations I put myself in.
We're at the extraction point. Ready for pickup.
Almost there.
Yeah, pick us up, please. That's the best I can do. And because the area is down, I cannot use Singularity anymore, so I'm using another Medigel to revive her and use Singularity on the 11th hour.
Right away.
The Guardians use talons. These are heavy pistols that look like shotguns, in fact, like a pistol shotgun. So be really careful with these guys. And finally, we leave Sanctum. That was very long. And Hackett has something to tell us.
Commander, we've got our best engineers looking at the Reaper tech you secured from that lab.
What was Cerberus doing with it?
We don't know yet, but whatever Cerberus is up to, it can't be good. Even if we can't determine its purpose, we've disrupted their experiments.
I doubt they'll just close up shop.
Agreed. We'll keep sending strikes against the facility. Good work, Commander.
He was sitting on his bottom during the whole mission, and that's the only thing he can tell us. At least we earn a few credits. And we have few entries, most notably organizations about the engineers, the combat engineers of Cerberus. So you might learn a few things about these guys that look like motorcycle drivers. War assets, so all the war assets we collected so far, Cerberus research data, as well as all the pickups we discovered on the different planets we visited earlier, like the Javelin missiles, for instance.
You see the Citadel when we were there on leave? You'd never know there was a war on.
They'll know soon enough.
These two women always have a few lines of dialogue after main missions or secondary missions, not after DLCs though. And that's sometimes interesting. So there's no weapon I want to upgrade, and let's see if I forgot anything. This armor could be interesting, the Inferno armor, but I'm not buying it, sorry. I prefer to have my own kit. Talking about it. So I boosted my shield regeneration stat earlier, and I will do that later. I will take off N7 equipment to have other bonuses on my stats. Thank you for watching this episode, and see you in the next one. Bye.